Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, Gwen. How about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Dr. Gwendolyn Herzig, she, her, and hers. I'm originally born and raised in Jonesboro, Arkansas, Northeast Arkansas, but I've been living in Little Rock, Arkansas, which is the capital of Arkansas, for quite some time now. I am a pharmacist and a clinical pharmacist as well. I really focus on transgender care because there's just a lot of medical facets to trans care that is just really kind of underserved, obviously. But I do take care of all my LGBTQ plus community. I received my bachelor's in Arkansas State University, and then I went on to get my doctorate in pharmacy at University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences, graduated in 2017. Then I secured the ownership of my independent pharmacy in 2018, and I have actually been under ownership for about 4 years in my pharmacy.
Wow, wow. Well, congratulations. That's amazing. Talk to us a little bit about how you got into the healthcare space to begin with.
No, for sure. So, coming out of high school and all that, I was like, I was into like journalism, but then it's like I just wanted a career that was going to make money, to be honest with you. And so I'm like, I want to go like see about being a doctor, like a medical doctor. So then I was like, I need to get a job when undergrad, be like that's something medical related. So then I started pharmacy, and then I kind of just fell in love with pharmacy. And so then I just went on to be a pharmacist. It really wasn't until later, when I personally started transitioning, did I see that there was such a huge gap in LGBTQ care, because I was a highly closeted individual until I started like really revamping my practice and my outreach towards making sure that minority community was taken care of.
Excellent, excellent. And so talk to us a little bit about how you heard about OutCare, and what sparked you to join the OutList.
No, for sure. So OutCare, I felt like has been really just growing in itself and in its outreach. And then, I was asked by a couple of other providers to join outreach because I feel like my pharmacy and my setting is really much a resource setting for Arkansas. And
Mhm.
so it just seemed kind of like just a obvious thing to do is to join OutCare just to get that much more like connection with other providers and make sure people can find the resources that they need.
Excellent. And what has that been like as patients have either come through finding you through the outlets or just in general, those interactions?
No, for sure. So, I feel like anyone in the LGBT community trying to find the appropriate provider or find appropriate care for providers that are affirming, it's just difficult. Really, only in the last, I feel like a few years has transgender care for that instance have really become a little bit more like there's guidelines where it's more easily to be able to find a provider, even though it's still not as easy as it should be. But I feel like OutCare has really kind of helped breach that gap in helping individuals find care easier. And so,
Yeah, I think that's always our main goal. But also we love the fact that our, affirming providers are creating, welcoming spaces. And so this campaign is called Pride in Healthcare. So talk to us a little bit about how you create a welcoming space in the work that you do.
I know for sure. So we create a welcoming space from the very moment you enter our pharmacy or enter my workplace as a clinical pharmacy with Healthy Connections Inc. by asking preferred name, what's your preferred pronouns, making sure like the person's validated in their existence. And then even going as far as making sure we have, the rainbow flag up or the transgender flag up or just stickers or it's like, because an LGBTQ plus person, I think is a pro at trying to find the rainbow somewhere. And generally even seeing that just really can like de-escalate any type of anxiety or depression someone might have coming into the clinic or the pharmacy setting. And so, we do all those things. And we really make sure that individual is treated wholly. It's like, we're not here just to treat whatever specific individualized thing you have, but treat you as an individual and like make sure all your needs are met. So,
Yeah, I love that. I think it's important too to keep yourself up to date on all the things that are happening, especially in the healthcare space, but also within the community itself. And so, talk to me a little bit about how you keep yourself, up to date, educated, and how you even work with your colleagues to make sure that they're up to par in terms of LGBTQ plus care.
yeah, no, for sure. So, when we're talking about the medical side of LGBTQ care, obviously, a lot of it, my focus is on transgender care. And a lot of that is just working with practitioners out there, looking at WPATH guidelines, which is the worldwide guidelines for like trans care, like really in making sure care is tailored to each individual based on what their needs and their specific dysphorias are. And so really it's just kind of working with a team across the state, even if I'm not like there working in my clinic per se, but I pretty much all the affirming providers out there are kind of in it to win it in a sense, make sure people are taken care of.
Awesome. That's good to know. And for providers who are listening at this moment, what do you think they should be doing right now to continue to increase knowledge and skill, given the constant attacks that we're seeing across the country?
No, for sure. I think it's still just making sure patients are taken care of, making sure that we provide an affirming atmosphere and a safe atmosphere where patients can really talk about what they're struggling with, what their dysphoria is, whether if they have really bad anxiety, depression based on any type of current legislation that's getting pushed out there, and making sure that they just can lead a happy and a successful life to live. And so, and as for like the actual care part of it, like when it comes to medicine, just kind of stay up to date, like looking at what the latest articles are, making sure we're looking at WPATH guidelines, or making sure we're actually keeping people at their appropriate doses of hormones. That way they can have an effective change over a long period of time. I could get into that, which is far more complex, but it's like really just kind of making sure we're just staying on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And put yourself back in the shoes of, as a learner, in med school or in receiving your education. What is some advice you'd give to a brand new provider who is just about to begin practicing or is in med school? We know that the education hours for LGBTQ plus curriculum is not quite there yet across the country. And so what would you tell those folks?
And volunteer, get involved. Look at like some LGBTQ clinics out there. See what it's like to be an affirming provider. Look at this patient population as a marginalized community, which they are, and look at seeing they're just individuals that are needing treatment and care. And really they just want to live happy, normal lives. A lot of my students that pass through my pharmacy that are rotating say it's probably one of the most beneficial experiences they have, because they actually get to see individuals and like human beings just trying to cope with whatever they're dealing with and try to lead successful lives.
Absolutely. And I think showing up to work as your authentic self will inspire other people to do the same. So for you, what does pride and having pride in healthcare mean to you?
Pride is really having pride in yourself. I feel like being able to, enjoy just being you, going out there and just living your life to the fullest and not having to worry about what societal pressure has to tell you that you have to do or you can't do. Having the tools and resources available to be able to seek, your true self. And so whether that's HRT or just socially transitioning or any type of surgical procedures out there, having the ability and access and education enough to know what you want and go after it. And so really it comes down to pride for yourself.
Love that. Yeah. I think throughout the entire month, there's a lot of messaging out there. So that's pretty concise and helpful for folks to take in. As we just get close to wrapping up, why are you proud to work with OutCare and also be on the OutList?
No, I am very much outspoken for my community because I want everyone to have the tools and the ability to be able to live their life. And so being on the OutCare Health list is important because I want to make sure I'm visible for those who have questions. I very much remember the day when I was a very closeted individual, and even as a doctor of pharmacy, trying to figure out what are the steps to transitioning. What are the steps of like coming out of the closet? What's the steps of like HRT? What's the effects? What am I expecting? What are my options? And it's really hard because there is not no like tried and true path, because A, everyone has individualized care, and B, a lot of that's just not published, or it was still so stigmatized that it's hard to access or figure out where to go, especially in like rural or southern states where it's just like, you really don't have just that tons of resources or, the medical insurance to be able to cover all that. And so being on the OutCare list is really important. It makes me, allows me to vocalize and make sure I can help those who really need it.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you being on the list. And as we close out here, is there anything else you would like to let anybody know?
Yeah, so not all transitions have to be doom and gloom. I myself have had it very beneficial. I mean, I'm still married to my high school sweetheart. We've been married over 10 years. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old who love me dearly and call me Dee Dee. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom. I'm not saying everyone has can have the same experience, but as long as you have a goal, the resources, and that plan in place, you can achieve whatever you need to.
That's 100% true. So thank you. I mean, we appreciate you being on the OutList and being a provider in general who is really giving people the care that they deserve. So I think we can close out this interview with just you letting folks know Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everyone.